When it comes to fighting games, I will always prefer 2D fighting games to 3D fighting games. Sure, there are some 3D fighters that I really enjoy, the Virtua Fighter series, Tekken is pretty fun, but 2D fighters are what I grew up on, games like the Street Fighter series, and of course Mortal Kombat. These games were just so much fun and they were so unique and different at the time, and it got to the point where there were so many 2D fighting games that it was definitely an oversaturation on the market, and really 2D fighting games have gotten a lot quieter in the past few years, but we're starting to see sort of a resurgence with this. Of course, we got the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection that we reviewed on the channel here, and I absolutely loved it. You got so many games at a discounted price, and they're classic Street Fighter games as well. You also see games like SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy coming out. Guilty Gear is coming back to the Nintendo Switch as well. But a game that I've had my eye on for quite a while is a game called Blade Strangers. Now, Blade Strangers always looked really cool to me. I liked how highly stylized it was, how frantic it looked, and how over the top everything just appeared to be in this game. When you add in different characters from different popular indie games as well, it really started to catch my eye, and I was really interested in how this game would turn out. Well, Nycala sent over a review copy of Blade Strangers for me to check out, and they're like, yo, tell us if this game is any good or not. And I was like, yo, I got you, homie. Just let me play the game. Let me play the game. So I've been playing some Blade Strangers, and I definitely have some thoughts on it. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Yes, I already uploaded a Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate review earlier this morning, and now there's another review coming. There's all sorts of reviews popping out all over the place here on RGT 85. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about Blade Strangers for the Nintendo Switch and the PS4, but we're of course talking about the Switch version of the game.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards!
So the roster of Blade Strangers is mostly made up of characters from other Nycala's published games. You have characters from games like Code of Princess, and if you picked up Code of Princess like you should have, because it's pretty much an extension of Guardian Heroes, and a really fun game, you'll know most of these characters. If you haven't played many Nycala's games, you might not really know these characters, but that's not a big deal, because there's some fan favorites as well. People like Isaac from The Binding of Isaac, you have Gunvolt from the Gunvolt series, and of course, the creme de la creme, the coolest character in the game in my opinion, Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is a super popular character. A lot of people are wanting Shovel Knight to appear in Smash Brothers, but you don't need him in Smash Brothers because he is in this game. And Blade Strangers is a pretty interesting game. It has a bunch of different modes that we're going to go over. The main mode, of course, is a story mode. Now, you can only select from certain characters to play the story mode, and each character has their own little story. The main thing going on in the story is that all of the Blade Strangers are dead, and these computer systems need to find a new Blade Stranger to pretty much bring peace to the world. It's not really all that in depth. But one thing I did like about the story mode is there is some funny writing in it. One of the things I really liked about Code of Princess EX on the Nintendo Switch was the very funny writing in the game, and it seems like that's transferred over into this game because a lot of the characters that are fighting in this game are from Code of Princess, and I really like the dialogue between the characters. They sort of realize that they're in a competition with one another and they have to fight each other. Graphically speaking, I think the game looks really good. They use 2D character sprites with sort of 3D background, so it sort of gives it a 2.5D look to it, and the character sprites all look pretty nice. All of the animations are very fluid, and there's a lot to see in the backgrounds as well. There's little intricacies, little things going on in the background. Very visually appealing. It looks very clean both in handheld and in docked mode, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. Aside from the story mode, you also have things like arcade mode, where you could pick any character that's available to you in the game, and then just go through an arcade mode, most likely like a Street Fighter sort of thing as well. And there's other game modes as well. You could do training, you could do missions, you could do survival mode. There of course is also online battles as well, complete with the leaderboard system. Unfortunately, because I have a review copy of this game, I only got around to playing like one match on online mode, but from what I did play of the online mode, it was very smooth. I didn't have any issues with it, but if issues do arise, I will update this in the comments section of this video, because like I said, it's obvious that there wasn't a whole lot of people playing this game, probably not a whole lot of review copies went out for this, so it was kind of tough to find another person to play against, but what I did play was enjoyable. Now, of course, you have to talk about the main thing of the game, and that is how the game plays. It could look great, it could have a bunch of different game modes, there could be a bunch of fun stuff to do, but if the game itself is not fun and it's not a good fighting game, then it's pretty much worthless. And it's a pretty interesting fighting game, honestly. When I first started playing it, I definitely got a lot of impressions of older SNK fighting games. Considering which is kind of funny considering that SNK Heroines is coming out in a just matter of weeks from the release of this game, but I definitely feel like it sort of feels like sort of an Art of Fighting or an old school samurai showdown. Definitely because of the camera as well. When you're playing it, it starts out with a sort of zoomed out camera, and when the characters get closer together, it zooms in, which was a big feature in those sorts of fighting games. Now, the fighting in this game is sort of simplified for beginners, but there is definitely a huge layer of strategy as well. It uses a 4-button system, and there's light attacks, medium attacks, harder attacks, and you could of course do different combinations to do different things. It's definitely worth checking out each character's individual move because they have completely different movesets that do completely different things. You can also trigger your special attacks as you build up your special bar with the click of a button, which is nice because it's very accessible, but of course a good fighter can sort of supersede that and circumvent that by just blocking, of course, and you can sort of see little tells of when they're going to do their special attacks. Now, the combat is pretty slow, and it's not like bad slow, but it's definitely not as fast as something like Street Fighter. Definitely more like an old school samurai showdown game with most of the characters. I would say that Isaac sort of sticks out like a sore thumb. Not necessarily in a bad way, but he definitely feels a lot faster than a lot of the other characters do. A lot of the other characters feel a bit slow, like more methodical, where Isaac is just very fast and over the top and very crazy. Now, there's lots of cool special moves as well, and there's lots of little interesting things that happen, including visual effects. I really like the combo system in the game, as it sort of teaches you different things as you progress through the game, whether it's via the training menus or via the button combination menus that you could pull up at any time. It's very intuitive, it's very fluid, it's nothing really groundbreaking or redefining in the 2D fighting genre, but it does the job that it needs to do. As far as things I don't like about Blade Strangers, there's really not much to say about it that is a sort of a negative thing. I think it's a really solid 2D fighting game. It's nothing groundbreaking and nothing redefining of the genre, but I really like the character roster in the game. By using characters like Gunvolt and Shovel Knight and characters from Code of Princess EX, it almost feels like a little celebration of sort of indie games and popular indie games that have been very successful across different platforms. I would say that maybe the game is a bit too easy. I definitely had to ramp up the difficulty in order to feel any sort of challenge in the game. The normal difficulty while I was playing through story mode was pretty much a breeze to get through. I don't even think I died or lost a round when I was playing it, and that was my first time before I even went into training and learned some of the deeper mechanics of the game. I was just jumped in and I just started playing and tried to figure it out myself, tried to see what sort of button combination you had to do, whether it was a Street Fighter style or a SNK style game, and I didn't even really figure it out, but I was still getting my way through the game pretty easily. So definitely ramp up the difficulty if you plan on going through single player mode. It is worth checking out single player mode because each individual character does have their own little story. It's pretty basic in terms of story, but it gets the job done with a variety of modes and lots of different things and some cool characters to check out. I really am enjoying Blade Strangers. I think it's a really solid fighting game. I really hope it's not sort of overshadowed by SNK Heroines though. This is a $40 game, SNK Heroines is a $50 game, and honestly you should probably pick up both of them. 2D fighters really need to still be alive and well. I could see this definitely being a somewhat competitive game as well, with the character roster being as unique it is, with the game looking as nice as it does, and it playing as well as it does. There's really no reason why this can't be a pretty popular fighting game. I think the inclusion of Shovel Knight is very smart, especially from a marketing standpoint, as Shovel Knight is a very well-known character that almost transcends indie gaming. I feel like Shovel Knight is bigger than indie gaming right now, so having him in the game will hopefully get some more eyes on this game, and hopefully like my review will help get some more eyes on this game as well, because I really enjoy this game. It's simple enough to where newcomers can jump in and have a decent time with it, but there's definitely enough strategy, there's definitely enough combos, and there's definitely enough sort of tech to learn in the game to really expand the game and learn these characters on a deeper level and really get into the hardcore mechanics of the game. Definitely a little bit easy, but definitely a very fun and solid experience. I definitely do want to check out some more online matches though and sort of scale up the leaderboards, because it was unfortunate that I wasn't able to play many of the online matches like I said, if there is a problem with the online stuff, if there is a substantial amount of lag, I will update it in the comments within the first day or two once people start getting this game, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. But from what I have played and what I've experienced with Blade Strangers, definitely a very solid 2D fighter. If you're a fan of any of the characters from these series, or you just enjoy sort of old school style SNK fighters, it's definitely a game worth checking out. I'd like to thank Nightcrawlers for sending over a review copy of this game, and I'd like to thank you for watching this review. Let me know in the comments section down below if Blade Strangers is a game that you plan on checking out, or if you're going to pick up SNK Heroines instead, or if you plan on picking up both, or if you just hate 2D fighters in general and you don't have any interest in it. Thanks for watching anyways. I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.